Believe in Everything Auburn is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your betting needs. You can get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and card games available to play right from your phone. So head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts.
Campbell in the end zone. Caught. Touchdown Auburn. Touchdown Auburn. A miracle to turn the hair.
Nothing but green grass ahead of him.
As hard as they're going to try, they're not keeping this one off this field tonight. 100 yards. Can you believe it? I still can't believe it.
Now presenting
Believe in Everything Auburn with your hosts, Taylor Davis and Jason Campbell.
War Eagle, everyone. Welcome back to Believe in Everything Auburn. I am Taylor Davis. He is Jason Campbell. No duh. Welcome in. We hope you had a great week since we last spoke. As always, we have another great episode for you today on the heels of a very big recruiting weekend for Auburn. We'll catch you up on some of that action. And we have a very special guest that's joining us, actually a first-time guest of the show, but definitely a prominent figure in the Auburn football landscape the past couple of years. And a lot of eyes going to be on him in the next coming weeks as fall camp gets going. Robby Ashford is joining us. We're just going to have a little QB party. Robbie has been kind enough to agree to join us. So we will, again, bring him in a couple minutes. But first, do have to acknowledge what happened this past weekend. Big Cat Weekend down on the Plains. And obviously, it was on the heels of a very large flip for Auburn. DeMarcus Riddick flipping from Georgia to come to Auburn, 5-star linebacker. And it was, as we expected last week, a domino that led to some others falling. Following that was 4-star wide receiver Malcolm Simmons, who committed, and then 5-star wide receiver Perry Thompson, who flipped from Alabama. And there was a lot of talk, a lot of hype and expectation that was going to come to fruition. But look, when you're up against the tide, you can never be too sure. And it was very exciting. The entire Auburn fan base kind of united over this kid's decision and the announcement of it. And now this recruiting class has jumped to number 15 in the country, number 7 in the SEC. I suspect it's not done yet either. So we'll continue to see this coaching staff get after it, but very impressive start.
Yeah, definitely impressive start. And I just always wonder, how do they rate these recruiting classes, so early in the process? I think it's based off numbers and then plus the stars of the athlete and everything. But, people have also, let's not forget, we got a 4-star receiver this weekend in Simmons. This kid is a playmaker. He's ranked the number 7 athlete in the nation right now. And he committed as well over the weekend. And him and Perry coming in together as a tandem, it's going to be unique for Auburn. Perry Thompson, from Julio Jonestown. So, to be able to pull him out of that environment to Auburn was a huge get. And I just think that what it's doing, Taylor, is showing people to believe in the program again. A lot of people had stopped believing in the program over the last couple of years. And, with just so much toxicity going on, as you would say. But, now they're seeing the opposite effect. They're seeing people with passion that want to get this program back to what it's used to being. And that's competing at a high level for championships and everything. And I just feel like it all starts with recruiting. And every head coach, Saban is not winning at Alabama if he doesn't have the recruits that he get. Dabo wasn't winning in Clemson if he didn't have the recruits, and you can look at every team that's had success throughout the years. It all starts with recruiting. And that's a big emphasis that this staff has put on. Like, hey, we're going to recruit, and we have to make sure that we have players that's going to help us win games. And that just comes from someone like Coach Freeze being in the SEC, knowing the SEC. I don't know you get this kind of traction if you were to hire someone else outside of not having experience in the SEC. I think you need someone like him that knows what it's going to take week in and week out, because guess what? It doesn't get easier This is our last year West and East Conference. After this, we go to East Division. So after this, we go to just they take the top 2 best and you go play in the SEC championship game.
And we add 2 teams.
We had 2 teams, and so you got to prepare yourself for the future.
Right. No, I think that it is just remarkable what this staff has been able to do, given, what the past couple of years have been for this program, the total upheaval that wasn't just the coaching staff, it was also administration. We have a brand new AD, a lot of changes,
right.
And so for them to come in and not really even have a resume from the past couple of years to show like, oh, look what we've accomplished. Recruiting gets easier as you build, right? They're literally starting from the ground up. So to see that they have been able to get these guys to buy in when there's really nothing to show for it as of yet is just a testament to the caliber of recruiters that we have now gotten. And so I am incredibly encouraged, and there are definitely some others that are kind of on the horizon and that people are keeping an eye on. So maybe we'll have some more news coming.
A lot of things are new. And let's be honest, it's going to take a little time for all of it to gel together, but I like the direction that we're headed in.
Agreed. And it all begins with fall camp, which starts on Thursday. So we are just a couple days away. The guys are just a couple days away. So we will certainly start to know a lot more in the coming weeks. And some of the speculation and the projections and the guesses can be silenced because we will know a bit more. It will also, it remains to be seen what Jarquez Hunter's involvement in fall camp is going to be and his availability. Again, that has not really been spoken on by any of the coaches, but at some point you can no longer hide it. So it will kind of come to light, as will the quarterback competition. All of those things, you really start to uncover in the coming weeks.
Yeah, it's like a soap opera, man. It just it it'll give you a little bit to hang on to until reality sets in. And then once reality sets in, it's kind of like, okay, here we go.
Right. And basically everything that we said on the podcast a few weeks out the door.
Right. So that's the fun thing about college football is you just never know what you're going to get, especially with a team that has over 40 new players that's going to be on this roster playing on Saturdays this year. So until we can see a lot of these talents be put together, all we can do right now is just ride the wave of, all the great things that you're hearing off the field.
Yeah, and we will wait and see. But someone that can certainly give us a little perspective on what it all has been like is quarterback Robby Ashford. So without further ado, let's bring him in. All right, people. Well, as promised, it is now quarterback hour here on Believe in Everything Auburn. I am so excited to welcome in our guest for today. You know him. He needs no introduction. Robby Ashford. Welcome to the show. Jason and I really appreciate your time. I know it's a busy week. A lot's looming. And I know you guys are excited to get out there. So War Eagle, first and foremost. Appreciate you coming on.
War Eagle.
And look, man, let's jump into it because there is plenty to talk about, and it's go time. That's the reality of it. Season is right around the corner. It's the fun stuff. We like it. And you guys are just a couple days away from getting started with camp. But I want to go back in time a little bit since we haven't had you on the show before. Obviously, your story to get to Auburn, you're an Alabama kid and grew up around this kind of ball, and then college took you elsewhere, but you ultimately come back. What's it been like for you, kind of the trajectory of your college career so far? Still some experiences ahead that are going to look a lot different than your first couple years at Auburn, but being back here, being a part of Auburn, what's it been like for you?
I mean, it's been great. I mean, when you go 2,500 miles away, I mean, it's a whole different ball game. So whole different lifestyle. And it just wasn't me. So I just knew I needed to come back to just the South and just what I grew up in. And as soon as I got the opportunity to come back to Auburn, it was a no-brainer. And just what Auburn has given me just in my short time here already has meant the world, just giving me that second chance because a lot of guys don't get that second chance. And I was blessed enough and fortunate enough to get the opportunity to come to Auburn. And I just look at it every day as a blessing and just try and make the most of it every single day and just what can I do every day to help our team become a better team, and just getting us to that spot to where I know we can be at. I feel like it's just been really big, and just being able to be a part of just the new era of Auburn football too, being that first team. I mean, that means a lot, and that's something I definitely haven't taken for granted because I've never been in a situation like that, being with a brand new coach, being that first team he's had. So this one has definitely meant a lot more to me because I know we can be the start of something great.
Yeah, you talk about, for you, this is the second year in a row you have to be part of a quarterback competition. And second year in a row now, you under two different head coaches, so you have to adapt to new head coaches. And now you got another quarterback competition. When you talk about, and like we've said before, it seems like when you play that position, it's always a competition because it's only one of the few that either you playing or you're not playing. It's not like receivers come in and out of games. What have you said to yourself from a mindset as you get ready to enter this camp under Coach Freeze, knowing that he took a talent like Malik Willis and he was able to develop him into a really great college quarterback and to make it on Sundays? What kind of confidence that gives you heading into this camp? Because last year's camp was more a lot of noise off the field that you had to deal with that you couldn't control. But this year is a lot of excitement, which is total opposite of last season. But now you've seen what this coach has done with a talent that's similar to yours. What kind of confidence does that give you going into Thursday as camp start?
I mean, that gives me the utmost confidence. I mean, just to see just the caliber of quarterbacks Coach Freeze has produced. And then, I mean, just bringing in a guy like Peyton too. I mean, it's been great to work with him. Just somebody that's played too. So it's been fun to be able to pick his brain some. And we don't look at the competition as, oh, I can't like you because of that, which has been great. It's been a lot of. I would say I've been in some toxic quarterback rooms just because, I mean, everybody wants to play and sometimes people just take it another way. But this year in this room, you can just tell, like, yeah, we know we're competing, but at the end of the day, we know we're here to make each other better and do what's best for the team. So everybody's bought in that mindset. And then just going out and just hearing Coach telling me that we're going to compete. I mean, as a competitor, that's all you want to hear. For me, I can never go out there and get complacent. And every single day, break down the film, what I do good, but especially hone in on what I did bad and just those areas. And just that's the biggest thing, because those things that you do good, I feel like those come natural and those things you can do. But a lot of things you do bad are things that you can do and you don't do it. And like just being able to go through and see that. And for me, I like a fiery coach, a coach that when I make a mistake, he's gonna get on me. Like don't let me make a mistake and then just be cool about it. He's gonna get on me, but yeah, I know it's out of love and out of the goodness of his heart. So it's nothing I can ever take wrong. So it's been good just to be around this whole coaching staff and just to see what they're about. So it's been fun, and they've definitely instilled a lot of confidence in me that I would definitely say I lost last year just with what was going on and just battling through a whole lot of things. But they've instilled in me that they believe in me and just go out there and compete. I mean, that's all I can do. So put the head down, work, be there for my guys, and just be that leader I know I can be. And just whatever we need on the team, whatever my role is, whether it's starter, backup, doesn't matter, just doing what I can do to help us be in the best place possible.
Totally. You got the right attitude, I'll tell you that much. Jason, did you respond better to fiery coaches like he just said?
Well, every great athlete wants to be coached. You want someone that's going to push you, someone that knows how to push your buttons to get the best out of you. I've always said if you want a quiet coach, then that means he's looking at someone else. If your coach is on you and someone's fussing at you and they're trying to get the best out of you, that means they see something in you that you may not see in yourself at that time, but they can see it. They just got to get you to start believing in it. So most definitely, you definitely want a fiery coach, and you want someone that's going to push you. And like Robbie was saying, being in a room, with Peyton and Holden and Hank and all these other guys, you're all working for one common goal is to win. But at the end of the day, you want to compete because you want to be the man pulling the trigger. You want to be the man leading this team. So that also motivates you to want to work hard as a player and as a quarterback. And at the end of the day, the best man wins. But guess what? Even if the other man wins, I'm still competing because it happened to me my sophomore year. I didn't start the first 5 games of the year, but I was participating in each one of those games. And then all of a sudden mid-season come and I took the bull by the horn and I was the quarterback for the rest of my career at Auburn. So, you know, there's different ways that teach you a lot of things, but I think from the quarterback position, you have to be driven from within.
That's a really good way to put it. And I think we saw that. I mean, the entire college football world saw that on display with the Tua Jalen Hurts situation. Just because you're deemed the guy, you may be exactly what your team needs the next week. So staying ready for that moment is just as much a part of the leadership role of quarterback. So I think that's a really good conversation for y'all to get into. But I agree. I remember when Coach Freeze got hired, you were probably the first name everyone started talking about as benefiting from that hire, because it seems to be Coach Freeze's bread and butter, a quarterback with your skill set. Like you said, there are clear similarities in your skill set and Malik Willis's, and you saw how successful that was. And obviously what we have seen from you thus far has been an undeniable run ability. You're fantastic extending plays. You're stellar outside of the pocket. You're so athletic in that way. But what we know about Hugh Freeze is that RPO aspect is going to be pivotal to what he wants to do in his system. What have you been doing since we saw you last season to hone in on that passing aspect and make sure that, I know so many running quarterbacks, that's kind of your comfort zone, right? And with the baseball background, that makes so much sense that's what you want to tap into. But what's kind of been your focus in the offseason, specifically in regards to your passing game?
Yeah, so the biggest thing first was just getting healthy. I mean, that was the biggest thing. That was getting healthy. I mean, going through all those injuries just to that throwing side. I mean, it's hard. So that I'd definitely say it affected just overall just how I felt just throwing. I mean, it changed my mechanics, because I was watching film and I'm looking at my mechanics from the first 3 games before I got hurt to probably like week 10. I'm like, man, like I can tell just like I can tell the difference. And I was like, it's because I'm trying to compensate with this, because this is hurting, all that. But that was definitely my first thing. And then just being more relaxed. I feel like I was just so uptight, just anxious, and just I would almost squeeze the ball, like squeeze when I'm being ready to throw, and it's just like, hey, just relax, just let it flow. And that's what I had to tell myself. And it took me some time, but I've definitely felt like that has been a big key for me, just being more relaxed and not just I gotta make a play, like so then I started freaking out and stuff and just overthinking. And I definitely was doing that last year, because it was just points where I was like, all right, I gotta make a play, like I gotta make a play for us, like we need it. And it would just let it come to you. So that's been big. And then just I feel like for me, just different velocities of balls, just between one ball, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3 balls, just all that. And that aspect, just knowing when I should put touch, when I need to drive it, when it's somewhere where I can take a little bit off of it and still fit it in the window to where my receiver has a chance to even get his eyes around, locate the ball. Right. And there were times last year where I was throwing the ball and it didn't feel like I was throwing it as hard as I was. And then I go on film, I'm like, God, like I see what they're talking about, but in the game, you're not thinking, you're like, what's going on? You can't really just be like, okay, let me just go dissect this. So I had to come back. I was just like, 1, I'm gripping I just look so uptight, and then 2, I'm throwing the ball just hard, like
bullets.
just hard. And I was just like, but I felt like just going through and being able to just notice those things were really big, and that was really big for just what I wanted to come in and just accomplish this offseason, just having just quieter feet, just because when you're an athletic guy, I feel like you tend to
Happy
just
feet.
your feet just I feel like mine just kind of move faster in the pocket than like a lot of other people. So it's kind of just being able to slow that down, just getting that rhythm. Because when I would just go so fast, like sometimes I would step up in the pocket and it would just be so fast that it would get me off balance to where I'm having to take another gather step to try and get on balance. So it's just those little things I feel like definitely played a key role. But I feel like the biggest one for me was just getting healthy, just getting with our training staff and just honing in on that. And I had a little injury in the spring, but we hammered that. So I'm feeling good going into camp, which is always a blessing. I mean, nothing on me feeling bad. Best I'm gonna feel until about January. Yeah, tomorrow the best day is gonna be the last best day I feel until about January. So you just kind of look at those. But everything I went through last year, though, I think was a blessing. I think because I had never been put through anything like that. Like never lost 2 games in a row in my life, and that was through 14, 15 years of playing football. And then you put 5. I mean, that tests you, but it kind of puts you in that mindset like, okay, I went through that. Like, I'm ready for whatever. Like, bring it, like, come on, bring it on.
Agreed.
Yeah, you said some key points. You don't feel like you, you said you don't feel like you have to force plays a lot. Last year, I understand that offense was tough. Anytime you switch coordinators mid-season and everything. Also, the hard part about that is you don't see a lot of points on the board. You feel like as a quarterback, sometimes you got to try to make every play, which sometimes can cause bad plays because you're trying to force it. And you said some things about kind of let the game come to you. I think that's quarterback maturity. That's something that you learn along the way. You learned a lot from last season. And I want to go back to the first point that you said, I don't have to force it. That tells me that you feel comfortable with all the assets that y'all have. You feel comfortable with Coach Montgomery's offense, that the offense is going to take care of itself. I just got to let my play do my play, but don't feel like I got to do more than I have to, unless I'm called upon to have to do that. When you talk about that, that tells me that you're confident in the guys that we have on this team. When you look at some of the receivers that we already have here, when you talk about Camden Brown and Jay Ferris here and everything, but then you add some guys. You go out and get Caleb Burton, you get Jair Shorter, you get kid from Jackson State. I'm trying to think his name real quick.
Shane.
Shane. You get Shane. You get Nick Martin from Cincinnati. You go out and you add depth to this room. And, now you're too deep at every position at the receiver room. And then you look at your tight end position. Most tight ends we had were blocking tight ends. And they weren't utilized a lot in the offense. But now you got Rivaldo Fairweather, a guy that can go up and get the ball, sits, a former basketball player himself. So you look at all these weapons paired with our run game. But the most important piece is the offensive line. The offensive line is probably the best offensive line we've had in the last 5 years.
These boys working. Ooh, I love it. They working.
Yeah. So as a quarterback, you've got to feel more confident in everything because, like I said, this is probably the best group that's been put around you since you've been at Auburn and everything. So talk about your peers, your teammates on offense in those positions that make you feel comfortable as a quarterback when you walk out on that football field. That I can look to my right, I can look to my left, and I got equal talent, but I got this guys that's blocking in front of me that's just solid. These guys work together.
I mean, you kind of hit on the head. I mean, I think what really just kind of put me in that mindset to just know these guys can do it even more is just seeing their body of work. I mean, if I know I got somebody that I've seen him through those dog days of summer, I've seen him when he is on his last leg, but he's still pushing. That gives me the utmost confidence to know he's going to go bust his butt every single play. He's going to do whatever it takes to get open if he's a receiver. And our O-line, I mean, on paper, we didn't have the best O-line last year, and we guys graduated, and Coach Freeze went and brought in a lot of guys, and I mean those guys have banded together. They're a tight knit bunch, and I mean just to see the work they put in. I mean, because we run with them, we run with the O-line, so I see those boys working, and I mean that just gives you the most confidence because I know I'm dog tired. But I see my dog, he's dog tired too. But we know we in this together. We got one mission we're trying to accomplish. And just to see and just guys maturing every single day. I mean, you bring in a lot of older guys that are helping the younger guys. I mean, you bring in transfers that are older too. Definitely like the receiver position that can help guys that even been here just because, I mean, I feel like you can never learn enough. I mean, you never learn enough. So I kind of try and take in everything I hear from them, but just those guys, I mean, in our running back room, I mean, I'll argue anybody. I feel like we got the best running back room in the country. Like,
I'm with you there.
I feel
we
really
definitely three
confident in
deep.
those.
The spring game showed that. I was like, where the heck do these kids come from?
And
Impressive.
then you add Jeremiah. I think he's gonna be really really good. But he's got great guys to learn under too. I mean, I'm excited to just see all this work they put in, not only just for them, but just for us as a team, just pay off and just come to the light, because it hadn't been it hadn't been unnoticed. And I mean, it's gonna come to the light. But these guys, they've been working. And I mean, that gives you the utmost confidence, because we know we're all working. We all know we want one goal. So we know we're gonna do whatever it takes to get there. And I mean, that means, like, even for me, say I gotta put the shoulder down, get a yard. If we need it, I know I got a group of brothers around me that have instilled that in me to where I know I have to go get that yard. Like, it's not, ooh, I might get, I have to get it. And that's kind of how we look at it. We're going to get to it.
You're right. Like, I think that what you guys went through last year and the past couple of years, Jason and I have spoken a lot about it on here. I don't think it can be overstated, the bond that was probably created, because y'all are the only ones who really know what it was like and what all you overcame. And obviously the past few months since this coaching staff has come in, it has felt like momentum was building, whether it was how they handled the transfer. Well, out the gate, Hugh Freeze is definitely one of an offensive reputation that excited Auburn, because that's really been a side of the ball that has had some inconsistency the past few years. But his first order of business, he keeps Cadillac, who definitely reinvigorated this fan base last year. So you carry on that momentum. You get some big gets in the transfer portal. He establishes a solid staff. And now you see what they're doing in recruiting. From our perspective, it feels like a lot of momentum is being gained. From your vantage point, is that something you're feeling, whether it's in the locker room or on campus? Are you guys experiencing the same shift in the culture that us fans see?
Yeah, I almost could say we almost experience a little bit more just because, I mean, we're there talking to those recruits, just those little things. I mean, those things we weren't really doing last year. We didn't want to go to Big Cat for real. We didn't want to do all that because it was no fun with it. And it's hard. It's hard to want to do anything when you're not having fun. Yeah. And that's definitely something they've emphasized, just having fun. I mean, best teams in the country, you see them, they're having fun. So when you see a staff, like a staff like ours, just constantly out there working and just showing that they want to be great as a team, that pushes you to be like, okay, we know our coaches want to be great. We know we want to be great. So why not go out and do it? Why not come out every single day and work? I mean, and just that shift, it kind of started when Coach Freeze first got here. I mean, just from our first workout, it was just a whole different vibe, whole different environment. And I feel like it continually just got better and got better. And now, I mean, to see what they've done over these 6-7 months is honestly insane. I mean, I don't feel like there's a lot of people that can make that turnaround, getting recruits and just doing all the things they've been doing. If one, you're not good at your job, and then two, if you're not passionate about it. I mean, that's really good when you have around coaches that are passionate about what they do. I really cherished it and just try to embrace it and just make the most of it, because I know sometime soon this college balls will come to an end. So just trying to embrace it and just be a part of this new era and just hopefully leave a legacy at Auburn that can be remembered for this 2023 team.
That's amazing. And that kind of chemistry and that fun and that culture that you're talking about is going to be required to set the legacy for this year. Like you guys are talking about, your schedule ain't easy. It never is. There's a lot of new, a lot of unknown. So for y'all to have that as your foundation, I think is going to be huge this season.
You're probably going against the best secondary in the SEC, right now on paper, every day. Just talk about going against those guys, how it prepares you as a quarterback. And what's one guy, we know about DJ James, we know about Keontae Scott, we know about Nehemiah Pritchett, but what's one corner that everybody probably don't know about that they may hear about a lot this year?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like you said, best secondary in SEC, maybe country. I even go that far because I like my defense over anybody. Like my defense over anybody. I like my offense over anybody. I'm gonna say that every time. I don't care who it is. But just going against those guys, I mean, it's real work. I mean, our receivers get real work from them DBs, and it only helps us. I mean, because those balls are having to come into tight windows. You're having to put perfect placement on some balls because they're just on it. And it's not even that you're running a bad route. It's just it's good on good. And I mean, that's the type of work you want. And just going out there, and they're a fiery group. I mean, they're an aggressive group. And I mean, you love playing against them because it's always gonna be great competition. It's always gonna be great work.
Yeah.
So they've helped me a lot because you play against them, and then me personally, I feel like we come out there, and I think my DBs are the best in the country. So I'm gonna go out there and not feel like I'm gonna be like, okay, I've played against the best of the best. Like, let's go. Like it kind of puts you in that mindset to just be like, okay, I practice against these guys every single day. Like that was kind of like me last year going against those guys like D Hall and them, just being able to escape out the pocket. I mean, I'm running from them all day. It get to a point where it's kind of easy because it's like those dudes are the best at what they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're a fiery group, competitive, whole lot of athletes. I mean, our DB room is stacked. I mean, you could go from 1 to 3, and a 3 could be a 1 at any other school.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
So true.
But I think one DB that's going. I think a lot of them, but one that has stood out from the time he got here, Lee. From the time he got here, he stood out from the time he got here. He come in, he worked like a pro, worked like he'd been here in college before, and he's a ball player. I mean, it's no way to put it. He's a ball player. He's years ahead of what he actually is. So. Just see that, I think he's going to make a big impact early and potentially be Auburn great at that cornerback position.
My last one for you, and then we'll do a little rapid fire because we love to do that, get to know you a little bit better. But obviously, the dog days of summer, as you said, are certainly going to be in effect in the coming days as fall camp is ahead. And it is hot in Alabama. We know that. And it is going to be impactful. I'm sure it's going to be tough. And a lot is going to be coming out of it. So obviously we will learn a lot as camp unfolds. But based on what you know now about the guys, about the staff, about the mentality, give the listeners a little bit of what you expect this offense to look like this season.
Explosive is going to be one. Up tempo.
Good.
Up tempo. Just in this day and age, I mean, that up tempo game. I've never been a true no huddle up tempo offense like this until now, and just to see like the wonders it can really work is really insane. Now I see how teams like Ole Miss were putting up the amount of points they do.
Right.
When your boys are in shape and you can run 10 plays back to back to back to back and not get tired, the defense is going to get tired.
Yes.
I mean, so I'd say explosive, up tempo, fun. I just feel like we're going to have fun on offense. And not just in just our creative players or whatever, because I don't even know what we're gonna put in. We haven't put anything like that in. But
I mean, he is creative now. He won't shy away from that.
He's a great halftime adjuster too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna send one clip to one of our linemen and say, "Hey, send this to coach. Tell him you want to run this." It was a little throwback to Laramie and Sugar Bowl.
Oh, nice. But, you're going through the archives, man.
Oh, yeah. But it's going to be fun. It's just, I feel like fun. I mean, you're going to see a lot more guys just upbeat, smiling.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel like that's going to play a big role in us just being able to move the ball. And just when you have that confidence that, okay, get 4 yards on this play, get 4 yards on this, get 4 on this, and then boom, you hit those shots. I mean, that's fun. I mean, as O linemen, they have fun getting in those trenches, run game, they have fun. I mean, you see how much fun they have doing it. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I just feel like fun.
Well, man, our listeners are just going to be so thrilled hearing this episode. You got everybody fired up for season. That
I
is
hope
for
so.
sure. Well, let's hit you with some rapid fire, get to know you a little bit better off the field, and then we will send you on your way. You got some sleeping to do before fall camp, my guy, because they ain't going to take it easy on you.
Yeah, I got to go get in this sun real quick.
Or that. Okay, so favorite restaurant in Auburn?
Ooh, I'm going to have to go probably go Hamilton's. Oh, no. I take it back.
Oh,
I go Acre.
Also good answer. Fantastic. That's good stuff. Okay. What is your pregame music style?
I'm more of like a hip hop rap guy. I got to get in that mode, just kind of get upbeat for a little bit. Then I bring it down, but I got to get myself in that mindset. Just go out there, I get my mind right pregame. Just get a little
go-to rapper.
I'm a young boy. I'm a young boy fan.
Okay.
Everybody be trying to say that's my twin. It's crazy. I've been hearing that since I was about 15. It's crazy. And I've seen pictures where we do kind of look alike.
Yeah, we need a side by side.
Yeah, I'll probably go young boy. Okay. Young boy, you give me a little bit of Rilo and Lil Baby, and I'm good.
I like it. Okay, favorite part of a home game day in Auburn?
Ooh, that's hard. Tiger Walk. I think my first Tiger Walk
Everyone says that.
Tiger Walk was insane. I remember my first one. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it's just a different feeling, Tiger Walk. It's just like, because it's that walk right before you get into the stadium. It just, Tiger Walk almost feels like a movie. Like, it almost doesn't feel real. Like, because you see how many people are there. You're like, man, all these people, we ain't even got in the stadium yet. Like, but I'll say Tiger Walk, or I'd have to go swag surf after. I love swag surf. I love swag
and the new light system. It
like
gets it
we
going,
man. Yeah, when we beat A&M, that swag surf is insane.
You will never forget that game. I would imagine that game was
It
absolutely
wasn't the prettiest, but God, we won.
It was a special day for Auburn for sure. But I think all of you guys like Tiger Walk so much because there's barricades now. Jason used to get the crap kicked out of him because fans could get all up on you. And he said that used to hurt worse than the game sometimes. So
Tiger Walk used to be serious. Like people just pumping your chest and
let's go.
Yeah.
They're a little excited, but
so you guys got parameters now.
Exactly. I'm sure Tiger Walk will be insane this year, considering we have sold out season tickets. So there is that.
I'm excited to see this one this year.
Yeah. Okay. And who is a quarterback that you have looked up to other than Jason Campbell?
Tom Brady. My whole life.
I'm too old for
really?
Him.
I mean, we don't.
Tom's older than me, then. So
you good, Jay?
Yeah, Tom. We don't play alike, but he's a winner. Like,
I mean,
I grew up being a Patriots fan. I'm still a Patriots fan. I'm not on the bandwagon. We aren't too good right now, but
I feel you.
We're on the come up.
I don't like them Patriots.
But
can't join
Tom,
they cheated me out of the game in 2013.
Oh dear.
He's just a winner. I mean, those
Yeah,
are the type of people you want to look up to. I mean, when I see somebody just winning, I'm automatically going to be drawn to you. And then just
That's
to
fair.
see just how he goes about everything, just that's kind of the mindset I try and have, still working. But every day is a grind. But I always like to look up to Tom. I mean, everybody's like, y'all don't play nothing alike. I'm like, I know, but Tom knows how to win, and I like to win.
And he's a Patriots fan.
There you go.
And I'm a Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Like, what do you expect?
That makes sense. Well, Robbie, good times ahead, man. We can tell by the way you're talking that you've got some passion and a lot of expectations for this year, and we love to see it. So thank you again for your time. Best of luck out there in the coming weeks, and we'll see you Labor Day weekend.
For sure. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.